So in this video I'm going to be showing you the Collinsoutdoors Shell 2 tent. Now it's fairly lightweight, it's not heavy, and if you remove the poles from in the stuff sack it compresses quite small. So once you remove the poles it compresses down to probably a football size. That's pretty good, and if you really wanted to do, you could really work it and really squeeze the air out of there and make it smaller to fit in your rucksack in a tight area. So I want to thank Collinsoutdoors for sending me the tent to look at on the channel. I dropped him a few emails talking about the tent and the weight and stuff, and he offered to send it out to me. I brought quite a few items off his website over last summer, and plus he's always sent me a couple of tents to show you guys and to give away on the channel. As summer's building up, we will be back to giving the tent giveaway competitions and other items like that. So I just want to thank Collinsoutdoors for sending me this tent, and obviously I'll share a link to his website in the description of the video. Now, just because I've got this tent for free, that doesn't mean I'm going to say it's the best tent in the world. I've seen a slight problem with it, and I'm going to be honest and I'm going to point it out as soon as we've got the tent set up. So when getting the tent poles out, do bear in mind, but these poles are massive. Like a giant fishing rod. So you get 2 poles, I think you get 8 pegs, some people call them stakes. And now you set this tent up, it's an outer pitch first, but as the tent comes like you see it there, the inner, the ground sheet, let's say the footprint, and the fly sheet is all connected together, so you don't have to put it all together yourself. And the poles do have to go inside of the fly sheet. I'll show you that now. So here's where the pole goes. Now normal tents, I'm not saying it's an unnormal tent, but the poles would go through the top part of it, then through like the tunnel. But you got to go on the inside of the fly sheet there, and then feed it through. It's no big difference. I've just really not seen it before really like that, and I've had many tents. So your pegs are the standard arrow ones. Quite a lot of companies are on board now with these ones. I feel like you might need more than 8 pegs for this tent. So I've set the tent up and there's a couple of problems. Now I'm not just going to ignore them. I'm not going to pretend I haven't noticed them, because if you guys go buy this tent after seeing this video or you're looking up videos about the tent, I don't want you to get it and then think, well, Englishwoodsman didn't have this problem. So there's a couple of problems that I'm going to show you in a bit. At the moment I'm just going to run you through a couple of sizes of the tent, inner, outer, height and stuff like that. So the highest point of the tent is from here up to the main pole there. That is 105 centimeters. The inner mesh height is 95 centimeters, and from the bottom side pole upwards, that's a little bit shorter, coming in at 70 centimeters from the outside, and the inside mesh that goes in at 60 centimeters. So from the fly sheet one side to the other of the tent, it is 320 centimeters, but the inner mesh, where you're going to be doing your sleeping and moving around and stuff, from in the tent, 240 centimeters. I write everything down so I can't mess it up. So the outer tent material is 20D double-sided silicone nylon fabric, 1,500 hydrostatic head, so that's waterproofness, but we'll come back to that in a bit. So there is Collinsoutdoors badge, Velcro very strong, YKK zips, easy flow zip that all the way to the top. So you see here there's a V-shape unmeshed window, so it helps with the airflow through the tent. Once you put the vent cover, if you peg that out, that'll be alright. If you don't peg it out, it's like flapping around, and in the winter time, colder nights, you're going to get a lot of cold air coming through this. So I don't know if this is such a good idea, but in the summer nights it might help get some airflow through the tent, because there's another one of these at the bottom of the tent as well. And as you can see at the back of the tent, it's a double door, so this door is a lot smaller. I wouldn't say it's for getting in or out of the tent. I think it's just probably good to get some airflow through. And once again, you chuck this over, you've got the V shape there again, but this side is double zipped. I don't see the point of that. One zip will do. You're not getting in and out of this side at 10, it's too much of a small door. On the side of every pole, it would be better if you stuck a tent peg out there just to pull the tent out, but you only got 8 pegs, and there's a bit of a tensioner here so you can release some of the pressure on the tent. If it's really windy and you want to really get it tied down really tight, just adjust it like that. The stitching seems really good. Once again, we're going to coming back to that very soon. So getting into the tent, there's 2 lots of zips. You've got the outer mesh zip, zip, and you can roll that up like that. And then there's another zip with the inner material, same again across the bottom and all the way up. Not a bad looking colour on the inside of the tent. It's like a mustard yellow maybe. So scrap the whole idea of having a footprint. There's no footprint. I was thinking about another tent that I've just reviewed as well. Now the inner material, I'm trying not to come to the problems right yet. I just quickly want to talk about the inner material. So the inner material is breathable 20D nylon fabric, 40D single-sided silicone nylon fabric. There's quite a lot there in it. Now the inner of the tent where you're going to do all your sleeping and stuff, the bottom side where the small door was, the inner side that was 40 centimeters. The widest point where the biggest door where you're going to in and out your tent the most is 75 centimeters. The widest point from inside across ways is 145 centimeters. Now, without putting the tent down too much, what are the problems? Here we go. So first of all, can anybody tell me what these black circle, or whatever you want to call them, bits of fabric are here? I wonder if it's for like a washing line or something. I say that because there's a couple more on the opposite side as well. Having that door there at the bottom, the small door, that is a great idea for summer nights if it's way too warm. You could just unzip that and allow the air to come through. Now can you see the amount of loose inner fabric we've got? And it's same again up here near the door side. There's something missing in these corners. So I think you can see just here, there's a point where you pull the inner out to give it the tautness. We can see on the inside That is as taut as you're going to get it. You won't really want to be stretching this too much. I don't think you can overstretch it, but you're going to rip it if you try. If you pull it down, you can just see how saggy the bottom of the tent goes. So that does need to be like that and getting pulled out. But there's way too much material here. It needs, at the bottom, just there, another part to pull the tent out, and you'll get the foot bath, the bathtub idea. So on this corner, there's something missing, like a pull-out point, a bit of fabric or something, just to pull it out like that. And it'll be the same at this side as well. See what I mean? And that then will make the inner material stretch so it's decent. So the missing summit there, that needs to be probably looked at. And to pull that out, it is a carabiner clip. I don't see why. They could just put this paracord to here and then that would have been alright. I don't see what that's doing. It's not giving it any strength. It's not going to help it in the wind. So that could do with coming off. I don't understand that. Any ideas? So you see what I mean? Once you fasten the door up, there's so much loose on the inside there. So something there to peg this out will make it a lot better, like that. At the moment, that's just, these are not doing it any favours. All they're doing is pulling it out. They do need to be fastened down there. Now, I'm not being picky, I'm not being awkward, I'm just saying the truth about this tent. It is around about £220 on sale. You'd want it to be bang on for that amount of money. And it's the same at the other end as well. See, this point here is perfect. I haven't adjusted it, I haven't done nothing. And once again, something just to pull this bottom out here. It would make that a lot better and it tighten all the material up inside. At the moment, if you pulled it that way, it's just going to pull it all down. Something needs to change there. So here's one of the other issues. They don't give you enough pegs. You need a lot more pegs for this tent. I'll quickly count up and I'll let you know. So altogether for this tent, you're going to need 21, 22, about 23 pegs. Just say 24, just to be kind in case you lose one. 24 pegs, there's only 8. That is a big problem. If you didn't test this tent like I'm doing right now before I take it out somewhere, and you just go straight up somewhere with it, you're going to be probably in bother. So I think that's something Collinsoutdoors needs to look into doing, adding more pegs to this tent. The major issue, the outer fly sheet, 20D double-sided silicone nylon fabric, 1500 waterproof level, hydrostatic head. Yeah, the fabric might be, but the stitching isn't. If you got this tent, you would have to deal with the stitching yourself. None of the stitching is seam sealed, none at all. It is hard for me to show you on camera, but it's just the stitching. There's no seam seal down here or any part of the tent. So the fabric between the stitching, the chunks of the fabric, let's say, is going to be waterproof, but the stitching isn't. And we all know that's going to happen. It's going to leak in if it's raining, and then that turns out to be a miserable camp for yourself. So if you got this tent, you'd have to seam seal it yourself. Now let me know what you think about that. Apart from the few little bits that they do need to sort out with it, seam seal, extra pegs, and sort out the bottom of the inner of the tent. Wow, this tent is nice. It's a beautiful looking tent. I can't wait to sort it out. I think I might even stitch a few of these little pull out points to the bottom of the tent myself. That's no big issue. Now please give me your true thoughts about the tent. I'm going to show you a few pictures of it or little clips of it, and then I'll come back to you. Now I know what people are probably thinking, why didn't I take extra pegs so I could pull it all out so it looks properly how it should be. Well, there's no point me doing that, because then that could tell somebody everything's in the tent exactly what you need. And we know now you do need extra pegs to put the tent out. It is like a review of the tent, so I know Colin Outdoors will probably watch the video and he can see the things that do need to be sorted out with the tent. Seam seal, extra pegs, and then that inner tent needs to be sorted out at the bottom corners to pull it out a little bit better, to make it more tauter on the inside, let's say. So I can't say much more about the tent. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my YouTube channel, you can press here by subscribing to my channel. I'll let YouTube suggest a video up there for you, and I'll hopefully definitely see you next time.